Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Quick roll call, please, on attendance.
Tim Brown,
Here.
Brad Godecker,
Here.
Deb Hendrickson, here, Richard Hill,
Here.
Joe Seekos.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Carmen, invocation, please.
Your Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and wisdom as we conduct the business of the town. Watch over us and help to guide us to make the best decisions for the town. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Adoption of the word of the day on the agenda. Any questions, concerns at all? Deb, Tim,
No.
Joe, Brad? No?
No.
I might make one note on the first disclosures or some leftover disclosures from the last meeting. We still have some issues to resolve on that, and so I would suggest that be continued until the next meeting.
Okay, so even the present day conflict of
Yeah.
interest, everything?
I'm not aware of there being any other conflict of interest disclosures.
Oh, you're okay. Then we'll just table that till next, week, if that's okay. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we have two meeting minutes. One was a special meeting on April 14th. No. Standard meeting, April 14th. And then we had an April 21 special meeting. So I think we probably need to do both those separate, Mr. Watson, for benefit.
That's up to you. Either way is fine.
I'd have to do them separate since I wasn't here at the 21st.
Okay. April 14th, town council meeting minutes. Any questions, concerns at all? Have a motion for approval?
Make a motion to approve the April 14th town council meeting.
You have a second?
Second.
Tim and Deb. Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Seekos,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
And April 21st, that was a special meeting voucher packet for the new trucks. Pretty straightforward. Have a motion to approve. So moved. Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Hendrickson,
Yes.
Richard Hill.
Yes.
That's
Voucher packets. Questions, concerns on the voucher packets at all? Did look at them, looks like a lot of the negatives are gone, which is a huge plus. So kudos to everyone involved on getting that squared.
There's still some work to be done, but we're aware of what they are, and I am some of it, some keystone issues with where it's just on the stone that report is showing negative, but it's not pulling from our base.
Yeah, we've had negative like on almost every page, just a couple spotty. So I know I'm making progress. What was that? I'm sorry. Okay. Well, we'll go with that. So any questions about the voucher packets at all?
No, sir.
Questions? Concerns over here? A motion to approve the voucher packets?
I make a motion to approve the voucher packet.
Have a second?
Second.
Debbie and Joe, quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker, Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Seekos,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Any?
Yep.
Financial reports, please. Let's hit the highlights and maybe the ending balance and then the interest, please.
Sure. You see that? The general fund is $1,055, $127.89. Sewer is at $1,405,426.78. Sewer improvement, $2,139,589.31.
Excuse me, can you make that bigger instead of in the presentation phase? Oh,
Apologize.
there you go. Thank you.
Here. The general fund. Sewer. Sewer improvement balance is $2,139,589.31. Water operating is $1,145,704.91. Water improvement is $1,025,534.45. Here's the agenda today. We have $26,143.76 in all bank accounts for interest.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Jenny at all from the council? No? Thank you. Ms. Carmen, I believe you're up. Invincible Group, update, please.
So for me, I'm not currently doing anything on the supplemental agreement, so Jenny can probably give an update on where they're at with the reconciliations, but they're no longer charging us for their supplemental. And they're finishing out the work to get us caught up so that local government services can take over. Is there any, I don't know where they're at with those reconciliations.
Sure, I can update that part of it. So Stone Municipal Group has reconciled reconciled 9 out of the 14 bank accounts for January. The additional bank accounts that have not been reconciled are due to some like transfers, internal transfers from facilities, just kind of crossing the transfers. She can't figure out how the Keystone deposit utilities is happening. I'm struggling as well with her on those things. It's pretty tough, but I think we're getting there. We also have 7 out of the 14 bank accounts reconciled for February. So we're on track, better than not being reconciled for a few years. I gave you guys an update to that, as well as with local government services. They want to start fresh, with fresh eyes, make sure January and February are completely reconciled with Stone Municipal Group. I worked on some reconciliations and transfers today. I am really big about, don't just give me a big number to transfer from one. I want to know the why and where it's coming from. So I'm doing a lot of research behind the scenes to make sure I know why we're moving the funds, and I have an audit trail for it.
I appreciate the update, sending that to the council. So is the local government services, I mean, everything is gelling and everything is going good and you're making progress in the forward direction?
We're just on hold for the bank reconciliation portion of it.
Okay.
Other than that, if I need some service from them, I can call them at any given time. If I'm questioning something, I'm trying to use other resources so that I don't spend any money outside of, what I feel we need for the reconciliations.
Okay.
So I really am, using Keystone, using other clerk treasurers, other resources that I learned at ILMCT. So.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Mhm.
With that, we'll move on to new business. Carmen, I believe is you.
Got tonight, resolution 2026-03, approval of real property tax abatement Harris LLC. I'll give a little bit of background, but I don't want to steal any thunder. This is for a property located directly south of the Cooper Tires on the south side of Whiteland Road. It was previously, or it is currently under the ownership of Uptown Commercial Partners that had a previous abatement approved back in 2021. And as you know, as you drive out there, well, maybe not right now with the construction, it is still vacant. And so we have another developer that is interested in this property, but would like to make a presentation to you all about their project and how they will do things different than the current property owners. So I'll turn it over and let Alex and Kate do this.
Good evening, council. My name is Alex Miller. I'm with KSM Location Advisors. We're a site selection and economic incentives consulting group based in Indianapolis. Appreciate the distinction from the UCP group. So tonight we're here to request a tax abatement, 10-year standard tax abatement for a 280 square foot industrial spec development on the site that previously was requested an abatement for UCP. My client, Maris LLC, they're a real estate developer out of Cincinnati. They're a client of ours. We've worked with them in multiple jurisdictions around Indiana. They're very solid, great to work with. Brett Crone is here. He's a senior development associate with Maris. And so they're looking to spend about $26 million to construct this 399,280 square foot speculative development. And we're requesting some support from the town to make it commercially competitive as they're going out to try to court tenants and end users for the project. So happy to answer questions. They're in no relation to UCP at all.
If they're already getting an abatement, then why is it a totally different abatement?
So the investment window on the existing abatement has closed. So technically, if you were to build a building right there, right now, you would not take advantage of any abatement savings. On the S1 that should be in your application packet, their investment needs to fall within that start and end date for the investment window in order to qualify for a tax abatement.
So they're not getting an abatement right now then?
Right, because it's vacant land. They did not build what they proposed to build in time. And so if they were to, as he said, if they were to build now and file for them, the deductions, they would have to come before you and file a compliance statement. You would then look at them and say, you were supposed to have this done 3 years ago. Why should we approve your compliance abatement?
So they're not complying at all?
No.
Right.
So
So it's effectively void.
it's void. They don't get nothing for it. So this company wants to build on the land. So
Are you buying the land
They would
then?
be purchasing the land, constructing a new facility there, and then only when that facility is completed would then they be able to take advantage of.
They're not affiliated with that other company at all, like
Yeah.
I said.
So as spec warehouse, I mean, I understand the need for it, but I don't know if you know the
Not
answer.
necessarily warehouse, it could be more on the manufacturing side of things, depending on the tenant that they're able to land. It's not
What
solely built for warehouse.
my question is, and you may not know the answer, is what's the available square footage in Whiteland of vacant flex space?
The existing building, we have maybe some small square footage in lot 3 of more logistics west of Graham Road. 4B is available. That's about 400. But I just met with Aspire today, and there's about 4 different projects that are being marketed for that particular building, and that's it.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, I honestly had no idea what
Yeah.
vacancy rate for.
Across the market, kind of just around greater Indy, you see a lot of still the big million square footers that are still vacant, and then down to maybe under 100. This kind of thread that needle that's in demand right now that there's not a ton of supply.
if we were to approve the abatement, what's your time frame on footprint? Starting excavation and
Yeah.
work? Because I guess,
There's anticipated closing date on the property would be October of this year. They would, as long as permits and everything move forward at a good pace, construction would start in November of this year.
Aggressive.
Did I misspeak?
No, that's accurate.
Coming from a longtime municipal planner, that's aggressive.
Well, that Carmen and Steven have both
They do a great job.
very great to work with. So I think we're confident that we can move things forward. And initial conversations have already been ongoing.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to answer any other questions. Brett's here if you have any questions about Maris Company.
from a standpoint, Carmen, if it is a manufacturing facility that goes in, are we gonna consider the road access and frontage and turn lanes and all that? Because this is right across the street from Cooper Tire, right to the south, that vacant lot. So
So-
that road is already narrow coming out of the roundabout.
One of the things that we've already been very upfront with Maris on this is with the construction of the roundabout, to make better access for the Cooper tires, we had the median removed. As of right now, I don't have it scheduled to go back in the intent that these folks are able to close on that property and then have those further discussions about their access. That's not this part of the process, but we have had very upfront conversations saying, access off of Whiteland Road would have to be seriously looked at because we were probably, I'm going to say it, but when we go through development plan review, we'll know better right in, right out. And then they also will have a connection point to Mission Road, which goes in front of the DHL building and comes in off of Bob Clinton. So they would have that access point. And then if they are, and then at that point, we would decide, and I think they're hoping to possibly close in August, just depending on if this abatement is approved and kind of their next steps of their due diligence. But then, like I said, it would be discussed, how do we better fix that area? Obviously in front of their property, there would be some road improvements. They'd have to put an ingress egress on the turn lanes, however they would need to access off of Whiteland Road. But again, we've let them know that there is some work that will need to be done. We don't quite know what it is because we don't know what their project would bring to us or to that area. Of course, we've seen conceptuals, but when we go through the full development plan review, we'd better know how many doors their dock doors are going to have, and to even if it is built spec, you'd be able to guesstimate how many trucks it would bring.
Okay, thank you.
And this will be probably sprinkled, that way you can put any tenant in there.
Sorry.
This would probably be a sprinkled building,
Yes.
so that's something to be concerned on our water system. Is how much pool it's gonna be pulling for that, so I think that's something that the town needs to be aware of, and our wastewater system and stuff like that. So we need to really watch that when we lay this out and make sure that we're not putting a big damper on water here and sewer and stuff like that too in the future.
The more question for the council is, I'm the new guy. 10 years on a spec building. How do we feel about that?
Typically has been the standard of 10 years. It's kind of where we started.
Yeah, I've seen other communities go to 5 or 7 on spec.
I think our standard's been 10, right?
No.
Watson.
Well, in,
Not
and
always.
Carmen can correct me if I'm wrong, but for real property abatements, I think all of them have been 10 years.
Mhm.
Now, our personal property
It's fine.
has been 5.
And that's conveyor systems and monorails and stuff.
Stuff
Equipment
inside.
Manufacturing equipment, IT, et cetera.
Yeah, that's good.
One thing to add, rather than try to take the abatement that was approved for UCP and amend it to kind of transfer to Maris as they purchase the property. In talking with Carmen and Steven, we've all felt that it would be cleaner to just come and do a fresh one. So we were operating under the assumption that the existing 10-year abatement that was approved there. To make it less messy, that would still be moved forward here. We're just doing it under.
I'm the new guy. I've just been here since, what, March? So playing catch up a little bit.
When you build this spec building, do you plan on selling any of it? Or are you gonna remain the owners of the building?
I will start Brad on that one. Yeah, come on up.
Yeah, so we certainly do own the buildings that we build across all of our markets. We do eventually, when the market's right, if it's right for us and for the, we will look to exit out of the buildings, but we do own.
So I mean, my question is, you're gonna have an abatement, so if you sell part of it, they're not gonna want a whole new abatement.
Correct.
That's what I don't want. I don't want you to have abatement, then you sell it and they're like, oh, no, we want to start an abatement. No.
You only abate new.
Yeah, you can.
I know. But I mean, I just don't want them coming and thinking, and of course, they'll try to come in with personal properties. But, okay.
And Mr. Watson, in question, so, having that other one kind of technically voided itself out, do we need to have like a formal document created that is some sort of paper trail that abatement is null and void? That way they don't come back and say, hey, now we have, some conflicting information and other council members are not up here or something.
Yeah, what I'm thinking about is, what we could do is, without getting too far out on the limb, I think we could adopt a motion to notify the current property owner, UCP. It is
UCP.
Uh,
Non-compliance.
that they are however many years past the completion deadline, and that consider the abatement to have been effectively abandoned, and of no further availability.
So they didn't file any CF1s, they didn't file any, after the first SB1, they didn't file anything after that.
And direct, not only adopt that motion, but as part of it, direct me to send a letter to that.
I would feel better that there's some
Yeah.
sort of final, conclusion and attach it to the paperwork that
Right.
just closes the door on what happened instead of leaving it somewhat open and questionable.
Right.
Is council okay with that?
Something saying
Yeah.
something from you? No, okay.
Not necessarily.
But I take it you've not purchased this property till you get the abatement, right?
Correct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, we will not close until we have our financing in place. And we're
Yeah.
actually ready to start construction.
Correct. Just,
Any other questions?
Yeah, he's the one close to you.
there you go.
No,
That would be silly to leave our property before your entitlements are in.
Yeah.
You have any other questions?
No, I don't have any other questions.
Brad?
No, I'm set.
That being said, do we have a motion for or against on the table?
I'd move to accept resolution 2026-03.
Have a second?
Second it.
Brad and Tim, roll call, please.
Tim Brown, Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
yes.
Joe Sikos.
Yes.
Richard Hill,
Yes,
pass 5.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We move on,
Make that motion.
discussing, if you want to do that, now would probably be the time to make that motion.
Yeah, move to have Mr. Watson draft a letter terminating the previous abatement on this property.
And I wouldn't use the word terminate.
Non-compliant.
Informing the previous abatement holder of noncompliance.
That's good.
Have a second on that?
I'll second.
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Sikos,
Yes.
Richard Hill,
Yes,
pass 5-0.
thank you. Tax abatement statements of compliance, Mr. Watson. Abatement compliance.
Yes, it's that time of year when those who have abatements are required to file compliance paperwork. And if they file that, it's then your job to review that compliance paperwork and make a determination as to whether they are compliant. Try and keep this as efficient as possible. I have prepared a summary sheet to inform you as to the compliance documents that we have received so far. Summary, we have approximately 23 abatements. I think there are 3 that are personal property, the rest are real property. At this point in time, we've received, it looks like 5 compliance statements. And you can see that in all those cases, I have recommended under the circumstances with the various information that they have either provided or I was able to obtain from Beacon, that it appears they're in substantial compliance. And that would be my recommendation unless there's questions about that. Concerns.
So 5 of the 23 are presented in your matrix.
Right. Yeah, they have until May 15th, so basically the end of this week.
So if you have 18, we should get other,
They should be on the agenda for the June meeting.
okay.
Does this tell if it's personal or real on here?
Yes, in the first column, looks like the only one that is personal property is the last one, D&H. And they're actually filing early, quite honestly. They have until, let's see here. Actual start date was January 1 of 2026. Let's see. Estimated start date was July 1 of 2025, and the actual start date was January 1 of 2026. And because of it not actually starting until January 1 of 2026, they won't have anything to file from an assessed value, personal property tax return until next year. And so that's why you got the zeros there.
Well, we've got 2 of them in their 5th year. That's awesome.
Good, making progress.
Yeah. Time goes by fast.
So since you're okay, so we need a motion, have a motion on the table for.
At the bottom, you can see the motion that I proposed. Council should take action on each statement of compliance by approving a motion finding that the taxpayer is or is not in substantial compliance for the 2026 pay 2027 tax year. Or the council may request a taxpayer to present additional information concerning it. So if you're satisfied, the motion would be to approve or move to find that each of these 5 taxpayers to be in substantial compliance for the 2026 pay 2027 tax year.
So moved. We have a second?
Second.
Quick roll call, please.
Yes.
Brad Godecker, Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Josie Phelps.
Yes.
Richard Hill,
Yes.
that's 5.
So Watson, thank you for that motion.
Welcome.
HWC Engineering.
So this is, if you're familiar, we use HWC for water engineering, and they have assisted us with the GPS mapping of our system last year. The next step, and we did this similarly with the sewer, is to create an asset management plan with the intent of future projects having a professional engineering report. It is something that the IFA, the Indiana Finance Authority, is starting to require if you apply for any type of funding using IFA, either SRF funding, state revolving fund, or getting low interest rate bonds and such. So we do not have an asset management plan, or if we do, it's very old. So would like to engage with HWC Engineering for them to help us put together this asset management plan. 3 parts to it. There's the technical, which is the field work, which they've done a lot of that. Managerial, which kind of talks about like the town internal, how we're set up. Then there's a financial component to it, of which we would engage with Adam Stone, who we already have on contract to assist with that. $15,000. Would like to request your approval to proceed to fill out sign the contract. Stephen did get me the red line with clean version with just a couple of other edits. We are checking on one thing in regards to a liability coverage. They're asking for a $2 million per occurrence. And right now our limits are 1 million. I'm sure we've signed other things with HWC. So we'll just verify that the 1 million per occurrence, we do have an aggregate of 2 million. I did check that before tonight. That, you know, just to see if the limits can be adjusted a bit. It does seem a little extreme there, but would like to get your approval pending legal review or the final, that one last thing to engage with HWC. 15,000, and we pay for this out of water.
You pay for this when the services are done,
As either progress payments, as they
Progress
get
payments.
through it, but it's
not to exceed 15 grand.
Right.
Questions at all? Tim, Deb, Joe, Brad? So we have a motion on the table for pending red lines and legal review for Carmen to engage.
Go ahead.
I'll make the motion for you to take care of that, please.
Second,
Second.
Tim and Brad, roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Seco,
Yes.
Richard.
Yes.
Okay.
Mondo?
I'm gonna try to give you an updated one. I put pieces of the packet. Again, good evening. So we know that the yard there at the street garage is, like a better terms, is a big disaster. We have a lot of cleaning to do. It's just years of accumulation of debris, a lot of spoil from different projects, everything from into New Whiteland, that donated some spoils to us many years ago, to the high school, to just projects that we've done around the town. What I'm coming to ask today is that we get the approval to contract ARW to move around 300 loads of material out of the back. It's not an exaggeration, it's quite a bit. It's an overwhelming task to try to accomplish with the town and the town staff by itself. It is something that I went back as far as the maps in 2017 or 2016, I believe Billy and I did. And you can see it grow and just exponentially get out of control. It's affecting everything from our staging area, just the aesthetics of the place, the drainage of the yard. You can only imagine, you can walk out there and it looks like a little mountain range full of debris. So I'm asking that we contract Alan to come and help us remove this material out of there. Now it's a truckload type basis, so if we don't get to the 300, that's fine. I'll be under that. On my staff report, I added on there that we will use our truck as available in our staff to be able to use some of our equipment to move things. However, that'll be whenever the available presents itself. You know, to kind of paint the picture this week alone, right? We have 5 or 6 laborers total. One of them is a mechanic. We had 2 that are out, one for medical condition and one that was out doing some training for the entire week. We had 2 individuals doing limbs, fire hydrant flushing, and anything else that came around the town that needed to happen. So we were quite frankly negative people. And when I mean negative, I mean obviously we're making it work, but we're trying to having to balance out what we're doing half hydrant flushing, half limb pickup, and it's prolonging our services that we provide to the town. So I'm asking for this to be able to remove all the debris from the yard. So pending your questions, I'm asking for $45,000.
I've been talking to our excavating company about finding you a place to dump close. Okay, so it's one of them things that if we could, if it's clean fill, if they're separating concrete or stuff, they might be able to take some there, which will save the town some money. It's Mike with SSI. I talked to him this morning. I called him and we talked about it, and they got a farm just down here. And he does take clean fill. So it's one of them things that we might look into with Alan, because versus paying the $50 load, if we could dump it there for free, might be one of the things what would help the cost on this and ease it up. I mean, I understand that is a mess over there, and to make you guys a nice place, it'll look so much better cleaned up parking wise. I mean, you could extend your parking out. There's a lot of things you could do with it to make it more, and it makes the people that live in that addition or that area over there not look at that mess for so many years. So I agree with what you're doing. I just think if we could probably maybe find you a closer dump, it might save money in the long run.
Yeah, so.
With a shot.
And I have taken the opportunity and the time to do so, right? I've walked the yard. If you go back there, I would challenge anybody to find clean spoils. I would. I mean,
That's what I was wondering. Is everything that's back there going to be able to be dumped at this site?
You can, yes. You'll be able to remove everything. So in comparison, right, we had another company, the company that's doing the building, rebuild and whatnot. And just their dumping fee alone, just per truck, is $150 for them to haul, just to go and dump it. So that's not the haul off, that's not the load out, that's nothing whatsoever. So the cost that was gonna cost is just to dump it somewhere, wherever they're gonna take it, usually the landfill, was gonna be the same cost that it's gonna cost us right now, the town, to remove everything, load it, haul it off and dump it. You know, so there is substantial savings. Now, yes, I don't like it that we're having to ask for this, right? But we have to do something at the end of the day. We have to do something. And this is not something that's going to get fixed this year or next year, because it's only going to progressively get worse if we don't do something with it.
I agree. I think it's just, we've added to it over the years. It's been a quick place to dump and it just got out of hand. And now, when that being said, from now on, when you guys fix a leak or something, you're going to take time to haul it away, not start stockpiling back up since it's clean, correct?
Correct. So I had a discussion with somebody earlier today, you know, and it was broken down and it made a lot of sense. So you look, let's just say 8 years worth of rubbish, right, and debris. You break it down, it takes you down to $5,000. I guarantee you the town would utilize that $5,000 a year or pretty close to it, maybe save some if we were proactive and we stay on it. So moving forward, it's what we do now, how we, you know, fix the problem and then what we do forward. I agree 100%. We got to haul our own stuff off. If we have a project, have a plan to move it out. Our guys are getting a lot better with that. We do a project and they're out there cleaning the site immediately within the same day. Within a week later, they're going back to restore sites. So there is a process and a progress, you know, and things are moving and progressing in the right direction.
Great. That's all I ask. It's just, we don't create another problem for the next
Absolutely.
15 years. And, you know, there's always places that you can dump it. I mean, no one wants to drive all the way out to Beaver on 44 and 37, but it saves money in the long run. Because we've ended up with that in our area too, that we've had that dozer, I've had to clean it, and it's just easy to stay on top of it once we get it. So I appreciate
And
it.
this includes final grading also.
I've seen that. And seed straw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Come in there and do final grading. We'll take on some of those things, you know, seeding and strawing and that kind of stuff, you know, in the areas that we need to do so. Whatever spoils that we have that we can use, like some of the clean millings and stuff like that, we're gonna use them in the back of the building, you know. So we'll make sure we do our due diligence with this project.
So you're going to create an SOP for whenever we have projects and then we need to haul?
Absolutely, I'll create anything that we can do. I mean, Carmen can tell you, creating SOPs is not a product. That is not a problem of mine.
Thank you.
It's not that, you can
Well-
solve this problem.
Any SOP created needs to put in the internal controls book, because we have to keep that internal controls binder for the state board of accounts.
I
Huh?
did not hear him. He loves it.
SOPs.
Look in his eyes, boy. He was like, yeah.
It's from an SOP, I mean, it's a continuity. book.
Yeah.
Right.
Agree.
I mean,
I just didn't
we're
like
not gonna outlive.
No, I didn't like him either.
It's risk and assessments, and which is a part of the state binder, so.
I'm happy he's excited to do it. That's
Yeah.
great because I hated it. So
Yeah, I'm glad.
To you.
Wanted a quick question. So I know when we talked earlier, no hazmat materials in this rubbish soils.
No,
Okay. See, we updated 90 days. That's a heck of a deal. on the terms. When you gonna start? And
So I talked to Alan.
date completion.
He's just waiting on my call.
Okay,
So ASAP, it sounds like.
Yeah, he's waiting on my call. Quite frankly, today, and he's like, Armando, whenever you need it. I asked him how soon can you start? He's like, whenever you need it.
I think it's a great thing for the shop. I really do.
They have it out there.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the removal of the debris at the street garage,
Not to exceed 45.
not to exceed 45,000.
have a second?
I'll second.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Seekos,
Yes.
Yes.
pass 5-0.
Thank you for taking care of this for. Appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was getting my papers. You got too many papers up here.
Did you guys get my report? It was in here. Okay. Just a couple of things updated on here, just since I did that, today. Sorry, a little delayed. The street garage tornado rebuild, in there, it said we've been waiting on insurance. Finally heard back from him today after my third, email to him. He's been out of the office. So he had asked for some additional information from our contractor. They did provide that immediately, just to provide like the breakdown, the cost breakdown of why it's gonna cost as much as it is to remove the foundation. And so hopefully his assessment won't take very long, so we can get moving on that. But I know Armando, I don't want to steal his thunder if he's planning to talk about, but he's been, you can talk about that here.
What kind of?
Armando has met with the engineer, working on the MEPS, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, for the building, and kind of made sure that we're all on the same page. So the submittals are still on target as far as the design and then submitting to the state. So we don't expect to see any delays with this delay in getting, the insurance to approve the foundation removal. So we'll just keep going on that. And then the other update on mine is that, about halfway down, back in July of 2025, you all approved the maintenance bond for the road for Warrior Trail. That's for the county property that built us basically a cul-de-sac where they've just been parking semis because it was pending legal review, and we had a whole bunch of items that we had been asking the property owner to come back to us with, and we are still waiting for that. So I did finally hear from their mortgage company today. There's something called a subordination agreement that we were asking for the mortgage company to provide us, so we could just shore up all of the protections and such. Finally heard back from him today. He's been very difficult to get to respond to anything. Basically, they're going to rework the mortgage and take out that part of the property and just get it out from underneath the mortgage. But once I kind of hear back from them, I'll get that back to Stephen. But I don't know, Stephen, this is a question for you. Now that it's almost been a year since we approved this maintenance bond pending legal review, is there any way we can make them add another year to the maintenance bond? Because now they've done this extra wear and tear by parking semis, working on semis, leaving trailers on the town's property, and we don't have the authority to technically go and tow them or ticket them.
I think the simple answer is probably yes, we can, because we kind of determine date of acceptance, and the maintenance, 1-year maintenance bond is from the date of acceptance. And if we say that you haven't complied until today or tomorrow,
Okay.
that's when it starts. And there's where we sign, I believe there's a blank that says, or we fill in with what the acceptance date is.
So if you all are good with that, or maybe we'll probably be waiting still in June at the June council meeting for this paperwork. I highly doubt we'll get the response from them that quickly.
I would just like to, I'm all in favor of extending that, but we probably shouldn't say, hey, here's our drop dead date until they provide us, because it could be
Yeah.
another 90 days. Hopefully it's not, but the clock starts when they provide us the information, then we add another year.
Yeah, she's not gonna sign until she has everything.
Yeah, okay.
Like that.
And maybe it's a conversation for after the meeting, but so we've approved this, but not accepted the right of way yet.
We've approved the maintenance or acceptance without, or it was pending legal review. And once we kind of, and Stephen got it back to me August, September. And then we've been just this back and forth battling with, I don't say battle, but just lack of communication or lack of comprehension of what we're asking for. And literally copying exactly what Stephen's asked for, telling them who they need to talk to gather that information.
It's not the town right of way yet.
Right. The original road is, but they put in like the cul-de-sac to help with semis to turn around, not to park. And
So why can't we give them a ticket?
well, I told them I was gonna close the part of the road that isn't ours yet.
Yeah, that's an option.
Or just put blocks to say this is the town's right of way, and then semis wouldn't be able to turn in. And they said, whoa, like,
Yeah,
give us a little bit more time. And then miraculously, I got a response today.
I still
That was
don't
last
understand why we
Friday. They
can't
said,
give them
"Well,
a
just
ticket.
shut the road down."
I'm all for having them test it before we accept it, if they're gonna wear it like that.
So, yeah, so that's my update on that.
Action and see.
Yeah, give us a core sample, see, make sure that pavement's holding up.
It's holding up.
Yeah.
The last update, and just, it is in there and in regards to my monthly meeting I have with Adam. We are officially starting to kick off budget season. We want to get with, I know last year we asked for a couple of council members that were interested in participating and if you'd like to do it again, and Deb, I think you were the other one. So if you two want to be participated, folks, we're going to start looking at the dates for the council meeting. The goal is to have the budget final adoption by September. Now, there will need to be a special meeting. There will have to be 2 meetings in September to hit the deadline. So September 8th was your original Tuesday council meeting. The next one, because we have to give a period of time in between the 2 public meetings, the adoption meeting would be September 22nd. We wanted to try to do this to alleviate the October when it's fall break and, those of you that go on vacation or, have kiddos that you want to, just be with and things of that nature. For the last 2 years, I remember, we've only had 3 council members. And so if something doesn't fly right with the budget, we run into, deadline issues. And so the goal is to have it adopted in September. So keep that in mind. If you guys are good with throwing in an extra meeting in September, as long as we produce the budget, it should be a fairly quick meeting, that second meeting of September. June, we would start reviewing the budget reports, projects that we're planning for 2027 and updating any positions. July was when the revenues come in. We always use June 30th numbers to project the rest of the year and see where we'll be. And then August would be the final budget numbers ready for gateways, our CNAV projections and lit distributions. Then in September would be the gateway entry, public presentations and adoptions. We would still kind of tentatively have that October. The goal is to not only just have the budget, like the DLGF funds, but our utility budgets and the salary ordinance done in September. So we're not waiting till the last minute and having to call a special meeting like we've had to do in December for different items related to the budget. So any questions on that? And then, of course, the big elephant in the room with budget is discussing how Senate Enrolled Act 1 is going to potentially impact not only us, but every municipality in the state. And so just kind of bringing everybody's attention to that. I've been on quite a few calls with some various folks, but stay tuned on that and future discussions on how property tax impact is going to affect us, but also what our local income tax plan will be. So stay tuned on that.
A quick question.
Yes.
Refresh my memory on the handbook.
it's still in process. We're stuck on this PTO thing, or I call it PTO, we don't call it PTO. But I don't want to say stuck. We've got a lot on our plate as always. But we are trying, like Derek and Julia do a good job of keeping us like, what's the status of the handbook? Because there's a group of us that get together. So that's where we're looking at that to say like what makes sense as we move forward. Right now, we let people carry over quite a bit of time and accrue quite a bit of time. So then when folks either choose to leave, there's some very significant payouts that need to be kind of reviewed, potentially revised. Obviously, we would come to you all with a proposal and let you all make that decision. We'll let you guys be the good guys or the not so good guys, depending on which direction that goes. But it does end up affecting our budget. Last year, we had 2 large payouts that occurred, and it can be very detrimental to how we do our budget in the future. And we have, either people leave or limiting on who we can hire in future years or the rest of that year, because that paid out of that person's budget, their position and such. So I'm just trying to look at it to protect the town and the town's finances. Not that we don't appreciate our people. I feel like we're very generous on how we, whether it comes with our benefits, with our time off, we're very flexible with our folks. So again, that's kind of where we're just mulling over what's the best presentation and look at what other communities do as well.
Do you have a time? I know you have other irons in the fire, but just no timeline,
Well,
next 90 days, maybe?
Let's target that. Give me that deadline. I'll work from that.
I'll meet you in the middle, 60 days.
Yeah, 60, because 45 is in the middle. So yes, I'll take 60. Yep, you said 60.
You can change my mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was gonna be more jealous. I was gonna give you till after budget got adopted.
It'll get done when it gets done.
60 days, and we'll see what progress we've got. Maybe we'll have a draft in front of you, and then you guys are going to tear it all apart and we have to start all over.
There you go.
I would be
Draft and
comfortable with
60
a
days.
draft,
Okay,
Yes.
thing draft.
Yeah.
To where we could red line or whatever and read.
yeah.
That's fair.
And it's also in the next 60 days, you will be approving our health insurance. So we are starting the census for health insurance renewal. It's August 1st. And so I've gotten the original census, asked them to revise it because it was old. So asking the broker to provide us with that or updated census so we can look through and see what our options are with when it goes to the market for health insurance. So that'll be right in budget time too. So
Thank you.
I have any questions for me?
Appreciate it. Thank you. Mr. Cox.
The only thing I got for tonight are handouts.
Visual aids.
So for a while now, we've been struggling in the police department with just literally space. I've tried to come up with some solutions. The least invasive, the easiest way to go forward, I see. I can come out with some designs for buildings, but I know that's gonna be years off. We're at the point where we need the space now. We spent this last week reorganizing, moving things around to try to come up with space. Because we're literally tripping over chairs in a hallway. Where you sit now on the blue carpeted area, what this diagram is, what should be outlined in pink is that area. I've been talking to Carmen about this, looked over this. It's what I see as the most cost effective, the quickest and the best option. I just want to put it in front of you and get thoughts on what you have on this. Basically, it would form a wall from the corner of this door over and take this area for office space. Bench would move forward. And that would give us around 30 to 35% more operating space than what we have right now, just with this small area we're right here. Obviously, there's other would be options along with that with the position or move things around in here. But
So the door would still stay the same.
yeah, everything we say would literally be there would be a wall going across. There would be a wall running from into that side, and that would be the. That's what I was able to come up with is the least invasive, the fastest, the cheapest, most cost effective way. And just wanted to see if there's interest in moving forward to something like that. To try to get us the space that we need with the kind of keep moving where we're at.
So quick question. So I don't have a tape measures, but I'm using my 2-foot tiles here. Here, 2, 4, 6, 8,
I think it's about 10 foot out.
10 foot. You're gonna go 10 foot. So you're almost gonna be at that wall.
It would be
Oh, it's at the,
basically where I'm standing here right now.
You move this on the other side of that. So you would be almost where Angie and Carmen are.
About
So
here.
you're gonna have
oh, at least.
only potentially 3 rows of potential
Maybe.
seating
This
if,
is kind of, I don't wanna say dead space or waste.
but this is where this would go.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
or, and this all started, the redevelopment commission asked us to kind of get some financials together on what it would cost, and Derek and I have been mulling over it for a while, and it's, you know, and they're the ones that are struggling with the space. And I was like, we could get with contractors and try to scope it out, and if you all won't approve it, there's no sense in us trying to get it scoped out. So there could be something worked in. There's a lot of communities that have gotten away from these big bulky types of desks, or, you know, whatever you want to call this, the council, and have gone to more of a modern look that doesn't take up as much space necessarily. And, you know, the biggest group that we have is the Plan Commission, and right now they all cannot fit up there. So that's why we're in the process. We did approve in the budget, and the seats you're sitting in, hopefully it's maybe the last month you have to sit there. I have ordered new chairs. But also in the budget for this year, you did approve for us to do some tables in here and to get rid of that big table where you makes you feel like the little kid at the big kids table, because it's on the wheels and that. So we've been just kind of getting by with a lot of different things, but they've definitely been getting by with the lack of space, and like Derek said, they're all on top of each other and that. So it was just something that I said, Derek, I said, you run with it. I don't have the bandwidth. It's for your department. And then, you know, again, just kind of asked him to bring it to you all.
Right now, we have basically two computers available to officers during the day if they have reports or things to do, or if they're doing investigations or to office space to use. And we have as many as 6 or 7 officers working at a time, depending on if there's a reserve in work. So 2 computer stations being used up all the time. There's just nowhere for anybody to work. We also have there's no area for breaks for people to bring food in to eat. It's just going out to eat every day, which obviously gets expensive after a while. This would give us an area for that. This would also open up what's currently our property room into an interview room, which we don't have. So the interview room we have now, we're not able to use for a multitude of reasons. One, because the walls, there's no installation or anything. You can hear everything. Everything that you can hear, everything happens in here. You can hear right through the wall behind you to everything, which gets recorded and ends up in court. That is the interview room we have set up now is also a packaging room. It's also the second office for the second computer. So if somebody's using that, it's not available for that. There's storage lockers. There's a canine kennel cage in there where if the dog's in the room, you don't want to be in the room. So we're very limited on space. This was kind of my conservative approach to trying to get the space that we need to have some breathing room until we're able to come to some type of a larger facility building, you know, combine a public service building or whatever we end up with in the future.
Can you tell me what the words are on each room? Because they're so
Sure.
fuzzy, you can't read them.
So looking at it, the big square is obviously where you're sitting on the blue carpet,
Right.
the pink outline. To the right of that is furnace closet and
Okay, furnace.
utilities chase. Our bathroom to the right of that. Top of the bathroom would be an interview room, which is right now the property room. The top right corner is my office. Next to that would be a break room, which currently is kind of a mixed use area with everything that I just spoke of. To the left of that is an area where right now is open. It's behind Julia's desk where we have a second desk, which we would close off into make a property room, which we give an area to put on the outside of it mailboxes and lockers and such for property room, and then secure storage behind it. And on the other side of that wall is Julia's area, the reception area, which we did this week. We purchased and had installed a window, a service window for her, so that she didn't have to let people in to the secure area to be inside alone with her without anybody here. So she's not going to be able, when she gets back from vacation, to have that window to service out of. We've also installed this week, just installed access control through HID keychains, so that now we can access through the front door, and she can open those doors from her desk, so that again she can choose who needs to come in and not, and it's more safe inside. So the expansion area there, where you see the blue carpet, would turn into a larger, like a squad room area, a U-shaped, like a countertop, which could house 3 different computer locations, and then with offices on each side of it for interviews or supervisors' offices or whatever we needed to do in those offices. Basically big enough for a desk, a computer, and a couple chairs.
What's the big gray thing in the squad room?
Like a countertop.
So it's countertop.
Like a countertop or desk area for computers.
It's a big book of
Printers, whatever needs to sit.
on chairs. That way they could use that.
And this is just something I did. I'm not an engineer. I don't do architecture or anything. I drew this up online on a free program just to get an idea. And these are all measurements taken and based off of the previous remodel. I think it was in like 2001 or 2000 when that side of the building was done. And measuring all of that. And it would be that little area, that the area on the blue carpet's about 30 to 35% of what we have right now.
Would you keep this wall? Is this a load bearing by chance?
No, I don't think there's any load bearing walls over there. The idea would.
Oh, he's got it open right here.
The idea would be to basically make an opening right behind you, Richard, that would lead into this area with 2 offices at the end. That's why once the wall was built across and whatever reorganization was done in here, everything else is internal over to that side.
I got 2, 4, 6.
So basically you're doing 2 remodels, this one in this room.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you're looking at, you're doing
But do
2
you think they
posts.
need 10?
And I'm just telling you what's going on. Then you gotta go through the state.
I'm just
It's waiver from the state, stuff like that.
getting
It just gives you
review,
cost
see
analysis.
what everybody thinks of this idea, if this is something we're looking at to move forward on. I know there's been talks of expansion of this building, there's talks of new buildings, everything would be years down the road. Like I said, we need the space as it is right now.
So Carmen, from a standpoint, you're looking at eliminating this?
I'm throwing that out as an idea.
Just strength it up.
In other communities that maybe have, I guess I'll call it more modern. This is a beautiful piece of furniture, right? It's not like, oh, it's not good enough. That's not it. It's just, what could we do with the space that we would have to accommodate public, if public is here. But then, like we were saying, like, this is all unused space here. The only other, we have meetings in here because this is our primary meeting space for the town side. And then when we do employee gatherings, we have the space here, but I think we could accommodate. We primarily use this space. So this space would still be here with the exception of however we would do a council table. If we make it where it's movable, or if we make it more stationary like what we've got now. So it was just one of those things that the redevelopment commission had come to us and said, what if we had a little bit of money to throw at you? They didn't say an amount, but they said, get us what it would cost to get the police department some space.
Water fountain.
So, from my perspective, it's not an unreasonable ask, and we're not voting on the project today. We're like, hey, should we get some more information? he's not wrong. Their space is
Yeah.
not sufficient and
No, they
there's no way,
don't have enough room.
there's no way anytime soon, like an actual facility would be built. And so, I mean, it seems like like something reasonable to have, say, hey, let's continue to pursue that. And I mean, the department has grown. So.
I agree. They might as well look into it.
Yeah, I mean,
And see what,
electrical HVAC data,
But you're also gonna have to look at two. You're gonna have to look at this too, what it's gonna cost to do this one, because whatever we do here is gonna affect
you're gonna have
that.
to trans.
So we're gonna have to have two bids, one for the police department, one for what it's gonna do over here. You might as well do it both while you're doing it.
Yeah, I'm saying. The commission is willing, I'll just throw out 100,000. I have no idea what it's gonna cost. And that's where I'm like, Derek, we're gonna sit here and spin our wheels if we just keep spending time talking to contractors and, we've talked to a couple of people and we're like, give us an idea. And they're like, well, so it's just. Or again, like what Derek had said, I'm like, hey, why don't you take it to the council and just see if they would even be open to it? Even if the redevelopment commission pays for it, we want your blessing because it affects your space.
Right, and I think it's worth looking in, but we do need to take in consideration whatever we do here affects out there. So we need to get that process too.
I guess I'll call the space in our town hall could be utilized differently, but we've just kind of left it the way it is and we make do with.
So we're gonna switch the building, put you guys over here, police department over here.
We talked, there's another leadership that has thrown around different ideas of where do we put the police? Do we purchase, across the street? Do we expand next door? Like, with that property, there's been a lot of things tossed around, but like Derek was saying, this is probably the cheapest route is to see what we can do with the space we already have instead of, do we build a whole new building over there where the sheds were? Do we, our long-term plan is to go out by the Saddlebrook Park area and make a government civic center there. That could be in our comp plan. We put that in there, like where it could be a town hall / police department, like where our other public buildings are, the fire department and street garage. So there is something, but that's a multi-million-dollar project. This would be, what can we do to help them get by?
I agree. I don't think it's a bad thing to look into it. I mean, nothing's being voted on. It's gonna cost us nothing to do. We must. The only thing it is, it's commercial. That's why it's gonna be higher than any other project. Because they automatically look at it as a commercial remodel.
Let's go.
There you go. They're guaranteed their money.
Derek, I would ask that you work with Carmen and create a SOW and then chase down, 2-3 quotes. I mean, you might even, I know we have relationships with GCs in the town, past development and some other guys, maybe they could help us.
Yeah.
In areas.
It's better if council can move.
Yeah, and then to piggyback with Carmen,
That's what I want to see. So-
if you have issues with space and kind of this corner over here, you might as well jump on the bandwagon a little bit.
Well, and that's what we've talked about is, it's one of those where how can we better utilize the space that we have? Because we have, I'll call them vacant offices, but it's just, and then there's offices that, again, if we get rid of the hand-me-down furniture that we all have and modernize some of our furniture, we could utilize the space way better than what we have. I mean, I think my desk has been moved 3 times. It's put together with wood glue. Billy's kind of, we've, I don't even know where that desk came from, but we're like, I'm not moving it anymore. I mean, it's literally, if it moves again, it's probably just gonna. So, and I'm not saying like, we're just like, oh, well, I mean, we'll take anything for free, but at some point, not saying we want to use tax dollars to make our, pretty or, extravagant. It's like, but if we have a better space to work in, and like I said, like the chairs and the tables, I was actually pretty impressed with the quotes we got back from what we had asked for in the budget on the cost of new desks and that it came in way under. Now, we didn't talk about, a new space like for you all, but I've been pleased with the numbers that we did get back from Office 360. So.
Okay. Again, I think you have consensus. It's not going to hurt to chase down some folks and have more details and information.
Okay.
So
We'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
appreciate it, sir.
Any questions from anybody?
Thank you. Wanda,
Me again. Just a quick little rundown or update on Bob Glidden, the roundabout. So everything's going pretty well. We had there's been a small shift to the right. Our initial completion date was set for July 2nd. It's now been pushed to July 8th. There's obviously some other delays and so forth, so on, but nothing alarming. There's one change that might happen here in the near future, and there's a current CMP, there's a corrugated metal pipe that goes under the road there. Forever type thing. It's gonna rust with time. It's, eventually fail. So we're at the prime time now where the road is completely torn down, that this is the time to change it. It will be a small change order, and I'll let her discuss the price and stuff like that, but it's not astronomical. But it is the time to do it if we're gonna get it done. So that we're not going back and having to cut this brand new road that's a full reconstruct down the road. Whether it's 10 or 15 years, it doesn't matter. The price is only gonna go higher. So we play what they're asking now, what we've been quoted in comparison to once the road is put in. Even if we have future development there, we're looking at a substantial cost increase. You're looking at potentially, I was saying, anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 down the road to remove this pipe that could potentially cost us, under $10,000.
What are you replacing it with?
Concrete. So the issue right now is that pipe, when it was put in, it's higher. So for the road to get finalized and everything, they have to change the profile. The profile has to be raised from where it sits right now. There's an 8-foot structure in the middle of the road along with this pipe that was encased in concrete many years ago, but it's a lot higher. So the structure itself is about 3 inches too high, and so does that pipe that's sitting there. So there's a couple of changes that can be done. One of them is obviously raising the elevation or the profile of the road, which there's a cost involved there also. So the common sense and the right decision would be to replace that corrugated metal and go concrete under the road. And then it doesn't affect the profile of the road or anything. So that's the update on that. Now they are shifting patterns starting tomorrow. All the concrete came back and tested good and strong enough. So we were waiting an extra day for that because one of these sections didn't pass initially. It wasn't hard enough. It wasn't dry yet. So it passed today along with the moisture in deflection test passed, and I went and did a couple of proof rolls out there. I did have some areas that failed initially that I had them do, dig back another 12 inches, put some material on there, proof roll, and we were good to go. So that's progressing pretty good. The parking lot, we received an email and a phone call today when they're going to try to start on Monday to start repaving this entire area here, this parking lot. So there'll be some heartaches with that like we went through before. But unfortunately, we've already gone through this, so we'll make it work and make sure that the residents and everybody is, as affected as little as possible.
Armando, on that, can you raise those caps up to where they're flush with the new elevation of there's one, it's a trip hazard.
At the corner.
Yeah,
Right out there.
and then right over here is
This parking lot, is the plan to raise that up to the new elevation of the cap when they resurface that?
Yes.
Is that our clean out?
the cleanouts over here.
Or
They need to be raised
Yeah, that-
because they're like 4 or 5 inches low. And then all your valves going down this road, Western, all of them are that low. I mean, I see what he's talking about out here. It's where it's sinking, where they paved around it and just left the center open, and the guys have to bust it out to get them open.
Good. I'll look at it, but yes, absolutely. We'll hold them. You'll see west. I don't know if you drove down west or not, where we had them raise those castings up to elevation. We had them do that. And we'll make sure we do it here. Now, this is completely going to be torn out again, and then it's going to be, the entire parking lot has to be regraded, reshot. Because the drainage is not there. So even the concrete apron as you're coming in down here off of West, that completely needs to come out so that they can get enough of a drop and gain the elevation out here and make sure the water goes out to West. So once again, it's gonna be
they didn't shoot that properly when they line that out to have
so the tolerances were very tight. There was a few issues, and without going into the entirety of the project. So the police department, I don't know if you remember, they had a little curb trip hazard there coming out their door because water used to come back in. So the parking lot, this entire parking lot used to be gravel at one point in time. It was never really professionally done or thought out. And there was issues with the drainage, right? So once they came out here and shot, the tolerances were very, very tight. They put in this concrete apron, which then definitely gave them a no less than drop over here. So they couldn't go below the concrete apron. Well, that limited how much they could actually drop it and actually get their slope down. The short of it. So now they have to take out that concrete out there, come back in here, and then completely reshoot grade to be able to get the water to flow from the backside out here, travel through the front and out the road. Because we added those extra structures in the middle of west to make sure that it captured all the water. However, we have ponding and pooling here in this area, the north side and the east side, that both obviously create, ice problems and freezing and so forth, so on in the winter.
Okay.
So it's going to be another undertaking. It has to get rectified.
And it's all at their expense?
Correct. It is at their expense.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
On that pipe, is that an $8,000 not to exceed, or is that an estimate, or is that the final number on that? Yeah, that pipe that,
All change orders will go through the redevelopment commission, but he was just making you aware of it. So if we would go with leaving the existing pipe and then putting concrete over it, protected, and to get the right protections or the grade of he speaks way better on that stuff. That was going to be about $50,000. And then if we replace the pipe and go back to asphalt, it's $58,000. So there's an $8,000 difference between the work has to be done. It's either $50,000 or $58,000. So why not spend a little extra money, get the pipe replaced and get it done right. So we're not having to then dig it out with concrete later if we need to replace that steel pipe.
so you don't need approval from the council to do
We'll
that?
take
but-
that to the redevelopment commission.
Okay.
So they're charging you $58,000 to push this pipe in, is what you're saying?
No, that entirety of the road, that section area that is getting redone. And so that structure was put in there many years ago on that.
You're doing structures and all.
Yeah, that.
Okay, that's what I was curious.
It's gonna tie straight into the existing storm that's there. So it's gonna structure and that pipe go all concrete.
Good, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the clarification. Mr. Richards.
Just want to give you a quick hydrant update. We now have 2 fully functioning brand hydrants on Pinedale. Went in, order was issued, bacteria test came back good, no worries, lifted. Just give you a quick rundown. We've got 2 on schedule for Thursday at the soonest, pending locates. We're still having an issue with getting gas and Comcast cable marked. It's not just us, it's all over the state.
No,
I've heard complaints of it all the way down in Mitchell. So that pending, it'll be 2 on Green Springs. Will not require full shutdown, will not require insert a valve. We did some digging and was able to find a broken valve box on an isolation valve there at Green Springs and Forum. Tested it, works just good. Found an isolation valve on hydrant there on Green Springs that's being replaced. Same thing, broken mailbox. I'm assuming it happened during the last paving project that went through there. I first ordered, so say. The next one that will require a shutdown is going to be the one on Colony Drive. We're going to actually move that hydrant from its current location. It sits behind a telephone pole and a mailbox. So we'll move it further east.
the one on the north side of the road.
That one's gonna require a full shutdown. We're looking at Monday, again, pending locates on that. I've taken delivery of all the parts that we should need for it. That'll leave just the one on Front Street and then the one behind the liquor store there on Whiteland Road. That should be the final 2.
So that gets us the first phase of our hydrants in compliance.
That gets the ones that were completely outsourced, no good.
And thank you for doing the Park Forest one. Appreciate that. Cause I had my tools ready.
I almost called you because that one gave us a feeling.
Call me anytime.
That one,
On this shutdown hydrant you're doing, they're not hot tapping that, are they?
No.
You're just gonna cut it out, put a T in and everything, and do it manually since it's all shut down, correct?
Yes,
Cause that'll save money doing it a hot tee versus a hot tap. Okay,
it's gonna be a swing 90 again. So that's.
yeah, that's what I figured.
It's gonna be our best route to go with it.
Yeah,
So it was one of those, it was either gonna be a hot tap or a swing 90 and a stick of pipe and move the hydrant. But we can't move it to the west because now we gotta tear up that home's driveway to go that route because it's right there on the edge. So that was gonna be the best, most cost efficient option.
I seen some emails, so you're in compliance, or you're in, conversation, socializing with Mr. Funkhauser, and you started the the flushing of the hydrants.
Yes.
And then
So
we're
hydrant
moving
flushing
to-
started at the start of this month. We are 98 hydrants flushed.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, 98 hydrants flushed. We've got one guy who has been out actively cleaning and painting the hydrants. He said he wrapped up Chadlow today. So he's moving along on that. He's gonna carry on down Center
You
Street.
hear that?
I'm listening.
I
Yeah, I'm not griping.
haven't been back over there on your side, Tim.
I haven't either. I haven't paid attention. And so, yeah, now I'm gonna have to pay it. I just go home. I just go home and focus at my house. And I'm gonna look tonight on my way home. I promise you that.
So with the 98 that have been flushed, no problems, no,
We're
No
encountering
mechanical
a
issues?
few issues. I have yet to be able to get out to look at one of them. That's a concern to me. But I've got a contact call on that to see if we can rectify it without
okay.
any real heavy issues. I do want to give a shout out to one of our employees, Dakota Guess. He passed his DSL license. He got his results this morning.
Good deal.
Very excited.
Good job.
So he is moving on to that. He signed the paperwork to move into the water labor position today. So he's working with me side by side, hand in hand.
Okay, fantastic. I appreciate your efforts on the focusing on the hydrants, sir. I think it's very important for the town. So keep up the good work and we shouldn't get them fixed.
These old hydrants, are you, when you stuff, are you checking the oil in them and stuff like that?
Yeah, so
I know a lot
I
of.
built 3 individual hydrant kits with the appropriate food grade grease for the greasers, oil plugs, Mueller mineral oil.
Right, yeah, I was just curious because
We're checking it all. We're running into a little bit of issues. Some of those oil plugs are seized. I would love to hear the logic on why it's brass going into a cast bonnet.
yeah, I don't understand. We run into the same problem.
It creates an issue. But we did just buy a easy outset that has thus far gotten
Okay.
the broken ones out. We're having to do that one. So yeah, no, they're all getting serviced. They're getting oil. Any issues that the guys are encountering, and big thanks to Armando. Like he said, he split between limb removal and then the back half of the day, the guys are going out and flushing hydrants. We're doing what we can with what we got.
Okay.
Stop trying.
For next month, can you add to the agenda your OSHA and your water tank clean out?
We said August.
We said August.
Oh, we said August?
We said October.
Okay.
October.
To start talking about it in August, we needed to get an updated quote
Yes.
for presentation. by
With the progress that you're making on the hydrants, maybe we can bump that up a little sooner if you get a bring quote. So at your leisure, whenever time permits, update the quote.
Stick with the original timeline of October.
Okay.
It helps you out in the long run. It does. It don't clear out you and you can focus on your job.
Yeah,
I agree.
The project will bring to you eventually here soon. So
Yeah, focus on one task, get it done, and we'll get more and more.
Just trying to get it back on the agenda. So steps since then.
I appreciate that. But like Tim said, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
You're good.
If we had 20 bodies to throw at things, we could knock everything out in less money, but
Okay,
No,
that's fair.
yeah.
I agree.
That.
I appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate the honesty on that.
Forgot about this one. We replaced the mixer at the booster station. It finally, it failed.
It failed.
So stratification, you're familiar with it. They've been doing a big push of it.
Mhm.
It was wicked easy. So the original price for the mixer was about 18 grand for them to come do it. It was 85, 9 gram. First do it ourselves, and I don't know if you guys have any mixers and tanks, but these ones are just plug and play ridiculously easy. So myself, Armando, Dakota, Troy and Todd, we were able to go out there, do it, get swapped out, 45 minutes.
Good deal.
Awesome.
Nice job.
I think it's great when we can do our own stuff.
So that'll keep,
Good job.
that'll keep it mixed, keep the water fresh out there.
Fantastic. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Jesse.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight. Just give you a little update for the monthly wastewater. The 2 fleet vehicles were received from Fusler. One of them is currently in service. It's in the front lot. The other one is currently being wired and is ready to be serviced next week, probably or so, give or take. They're working out well. We're still working through the wet weather inspection stuff. When we should progress a little bit more when we get the back truck. We've got to do some jetting through some roots and some stuff so they can camber some lines to finish that part of the project. Working through with the county surveyor at the school to kind of figure out the Chadlow relief project and how we're going to do that. I really don't have an update. We're still waiting to hear back from the surveyor's office on a few things to kind of formalize some stuff. So the new vac truck has been received by Brown Equipment. They're currently going through it to make sure that everything is the way it should be before delivery. So hopefully maybe by the next time we see you guys, we'll have a new vac truck. So hopefully that'll be good. I did get in touch with Don Smock Auctions on the old vac truck. It's set to be auctioned off on June 19th. Up at their place, and they've already got pictures and everything presented, and there'll be several people that it'll have a good look.
Did we establish a limit, a minimum on that?
I did not, no.
I don't think you should.
No,
You ought to just be happy with what you get is out there.
Happy what you get.
That is. A small town, what's, very, very small, well, don't use one's probably going to be more interested in that versus because it is so old and they're outdated after 4 years. They're
Yeah.
getting old, so.
That's fair.
So everything's going good with that. Still working on some stuff, scope of work stuff for the tornado rebuild. I've got the plans and everything set. Carmen got with me today and we've got some stuff gathered up and so we're moving forward with that, getting the new building and drying bed done and the rest of the tornado recovery kind of stuff done. Very clean. I'm on track. I'm tracking that still for their grease trap replacement. I've talked to him. They've got a set of plans, but they're not finalized yet. So I'm waiting to hear back from him on that. It's actually due at the end of the
I
month.
was gonna say, what's our deadline on him?
So they're probably going to have to come back to me and ask for an extension of some sort, I would guess. But they are still doing what they should do. They're still keeping in touch with me. So it's going well. The MAC meters, our new raw MAC meters have been received by Maxim. I'm waiting to hear back from the contractor on when they're going to install them. I believe there were some issues with the contractors, guys left or whatnot. So that's most of what's happened in the last month or so with the wastewater department. The plant itself, last month, we did a total of 19 million gallons. That was at 75% capacity and an overall treatment rate of 98%. That puts us at 88.5% capacity for the year. Obviously, that number probably will go down as we get towards the drier months, but we do need to keep an eye on that so that the plant stays in compliance. Deb, last month you had asked me to get you some stuff on the plant upgrade and time frame and some numbers and stuff like that. Did you get this in their packet?
I did.
Okay, so in your packet, there's an opinion of probable cause that kind of goes through all of the stuff. That was from the PER from 2023. So those numbers relatively close.
As I was saying, is it everything's running still on course or?
Yeah, so when we did the Chadlow, when we went with the Chadlow project. We asked them to give us some revised numbers and they came back with the same numbers we
Okay.
had before. So
That's
so
good.
I'd say they're relatively close. And then that includes everything at the treatment plant and then also the collection system. And so my thought process on that, like we started with the Chadlow, it's got to get to the plant before we can treat it. So we need to fix the collection system before we get to the plant. And then obviously, you're looking at somewhere around $40 million, give or take, for the full project at hand. And you're probably looking about 3.5 years time frame to get it.
Plus contingency.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's best case scenario.
Take it out of my.
So that's what happened to you guys tonight, unless you have some questions.
Couple questions, sir.
Sure.
The light bulbs are installed in that.
UV,
Yeah.
yes, so the UV light bulbs have been installed, everything is up and running, we've got a brand new bulb, so they'll be hitting 12,000 an hour, it'll be about 3 years, 3 summers.
Okay. And the clean out of the holding tank, how's that?
That's been
progressing?
done.
That's done too?
Just waiting, the tank's been cleaned, I'm still waiting to get here from Maddox on getting the railing fixed on the oxidation ditch on the east. To finish out that project, there was a little issue with the money on the insurance side.
So from a standpoint of an emergency type of situation,
I can put water in it.
you can put water in it and we're good.
Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
We'll call him Tim.
Hey. I've got a lot of stuff on my mind. I'm sorry.
So,
You know what you sound like.
Opinion of probable cost, 2023. Okay, we're 2026. So do we need to potentially update our quotes and then have conversation with the council on what our next steps potentially could be? Because you just rattled off, we're at 88% capacity, okay? 12%, we're 100% capacity. We need to do something now.
sure, absolutely.
So what's the plan?
But IDIM gets concerned at 90.
At 90, so 90.
That's what you got to worry about. It's
So-
the IDIM where it's 90, not 100.
Percent with IDEM and then
At
they
90%,
pull our permit type thing, right?
And we'll stop letting us, let people tap on.
Yep.
So we
That's
won't let any new houses or any.
Right.
Okay, so it's even a little bit more urgent
They'll be
than
shut. Yeah.
2%. So what is our next steps and where are we heading?
So we've got the PER, it'll have to be revised a little bit. Obviously it's 3 years old now, but a lot of it'll stay the same. What we can kind of go through and review the costs and those kinds of things. They do have some preliminary engineering stuff already done. They've designed a headworks at one point. And they've got all that information. They would obviously have to kind of bring it up to date. I believe that was probably 5 years ago or so. They did the headworks project, or we're gonna do the headworks project.
Are we including the Chadlow thing in the bond?
That is, if you wanna
Well, so
explain that part.
as we've kind of already presented and Adam has gone ahead and kind of started a rate study discussion on how we're going to pay for this project. Chadlow can be paid cash. That project can be paid cash.
Okay.
The other part of why we're kind of pausing on the PER, and Jesse alluded to this, is we need to finish the wet weather inspections that Wessler's been helping with, because that was the whole point. Like, let's do the smoke testing, let's do CCTV and the wet weather inspections to understand where our collection system is. If we have a lot of I&I coming in, that may help us reduce the amount coming into the plant. So that 88% may not truly be wastewater. It could be rainwater and
Right.
probably is.
Yeah.
And so then that's where identifying and prioritizing, can we line? What's a full replacement? Kind of prioritizing that collection system. And so as where Adam got with the rate study right now is we can pay cash for the Chadlow project and relieving that lift station. The next phase would potentially to hit, and I needed to go back and I told him, I was like, whoa, we've got some things that we've already taken care of in our capital project list. So I need to review that and get the updated capital project list to him so he can look at those numbers again. And that's what kind of includes some of that collection system improvements,
And then the big dog is the treatment plant overhaul. And then what does that look like? And so we're not truly looking at a rate study or rate increase until we get probably on that collection system. And then obviously trying to work in how are we going to handle and pay for the big treatment plant upgrade.
And Richard, I'll say, you know, obviously we are in, I don't say trouble, but we're in a pickle a little bit on our percentages. But a lot of that is due to last month, we were at 130%. So with all.
Yeah, it's definitely skewed with record rainfall. I understand that, but we're in that window to where we need to
get something done.
it needs to be a priority for, conversation.
You got about a rough idea from how much infiltration we're getting by the peaks in your sewer plant. So you pretty much know about what's coming in when it's wet weather, because you can tell in the influx of, more waste coming in. So he's got a rough idea what he thinks is coming in. So if he's still concerned knowing what's coming in, then it's a big concern to be that 2%. I've never seen it 100%. At 90% is where we're in trouble. No one can hook on. That means any subdivision what comes in cannot have no sewer, plain and simple. So it kind of puts the growth at a stop if we do not do anything with this wastewater.
That's why we have to have
Yeah.
stuff updated and have a conversation about it.
Like really the three biggest things as far as the collection system and the treatment plant upgrade are the Chad low relief, the main interceptor line coming from Pearl Street all the way to the plant. That one's gonna have to be upgraded, and then obviously the plant upgrade itself.
But in that being said too, this is where we need to be mindful of developers coming in to pay their fair share. That's the big thing, is making these developers pay their fair share, because it's not fair for everyone sitting in this building, what lives here, to have to pay for all these commercial buildings and all these housing additions. We shouldn't have to take hit for the sewer and the water. They should. So that's a big thing going forward, because I know in the past we give the keys away to the kingdom. And we waived a few things here and we waived a few things here, but we need to think about right now. And right now is we really need to be on top of our game with our wastewater, with our water department, because the more we can make that, the more town can get more workers, to give better streets, to give everything better for everybody in the long run. So I'm very big on staying close on with making sure that who comes in now starts paying their fair share.
And if you recall, when we did do the last rate study, the only thing that did change with the sanitary sewer was the EDU. That was the only thing that we focused on at that time with the sewer, was that EDU increase for everybody new tapping on. But I know what you're saying. We have a potential project that came to, as a speculative building, as we talked about earlier. A tenant comes in or a user comes in and they want to, consider doing something that's going to impact our sewer system. And I told Jesse, I said, look at downstream, what needs to be upgraded, and have them make those offsite improvements. And maybe that, and those are the conversations, because these spec buildings, we don't know what type of users coming in. And unless they come to us with an abatement, we don't have the teeth to kind of make them do things until it comes to their usage and they say, oh, we need a bigger water meter. Well, sorry. Or we have this much discharge, or, oh, now we have to do pre-treatment, and that's causing us some headaches on that. And I said, well, what do you need? Do you need bigger pumps? Ask them. They're going to be the ones that are impacting it. So we are definitely not giving away the keys anymore.
Okay.
Like Ken did in the beginning.
That's all I'm concerned about, because I know what's going to happen. I'm getting older and I'm going to be on a fixed budget eventually when I retire. And I'm going to know my sewer bill's this much, and it's going to go up this much. I'm going to have to go get a job. And I don't want to do that when I get older. Walmart grader. Yeah.
You think they were going to really retire?
I'm trying.
Still needs workers.
Yeah, I'm trying. So I just want you guys to really pay that.
It's running the triaxle for the town.
There you go. I'm just trying to make sure that we make sure everybody pays their fair share. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Appreciate putting that together.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Public comment.
Yeah, it's not on the
Um,
agenda.
Somebody online that.
Okay.
Okay. Ma'am, do you have a concern that you would like, if you do and you want to come up, I just ask that you come up to the podium
Yes, I do.
and state your name and address. And I would just caution you, I mean, we're exercising a little flexibility here, so I just want to make sure that you understand time constraints
Sure, sure.
and being professional and so forth. So I don't know what you're going to discuss, but I just want to make sure that we're okay.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Brenda Wade. I live on Arlington at 240 Arlington. And I have an issue with my front yard drainage because it doesn't drain. I have it's called a swale, but it's not a swale, it's a ditch, and it retains water. It's about 2+ feet deep.
Could you state your address, please?
240 Arlington.
Thank you. Apologize for that.
And it's about 2+ feet deep and about 5 to 6 feet wide. And it retains water. When it rains, the water stands for weeks. In the wintertime, it's a pond. It's an ice skating rink. In the summertime, the water stands, it stagnates. There's an issue with mosquitoes, infestations. We can't even go outside because the mosquitoes are so bad. And we had
Is there culverts?
No.
At the end? It's just a
if
ditch.
there are, they don't work. There's no drainage. It just stands. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
So the issue is that I have standing water all summer long. We can't go outside. We can't enjoy the nice weather. I had some dirt brought in and we've leveled it out, and we are working on the drainage to get it to drain, because there's a collection area at the south end of Arlington, on both corners on the south. And the water should drain there, but it doesn't. And Arlington is really bad when it comes to rain anyway. I mean, there's standing water everywhere, but my yard seems to be the worst.
Have you contacted Ms. Carmen at all?
Talked with
Ryan?
He's been to my house a couple of times. Told him what I was doing, because what that happens is the water starts, it fills that ditch in my front yard. It comes up my front yard and down the side of my house.
Okay.
Okay, so Brian said he knows there's a problem. I don't know what to do to fix the problem. So I had the dirt brought in, we leveled it out. We've got we're watching the path, the drain, to make sure that it goes to the south like it's supposed to. I've gotten a couple of letters from the town that tell me that I can't do this, but the ordinance is that it's my property, it's this town property, it's easement, but it's mine to take care of and to make sure that it works. And we're trying to get it to work so that I don't have standing water on you.
Okay. Well, Brian, can you speak on behalf of this at all? Are you prepared?
That we're talking about, it's in the right of way portion between the edge of pavement and our right of way.
So it's our right of way, what she's doing.
So did the dirt that she put in change their watershed?
It's inside, like we have the 10-foot off, and it's inside that 10-foot gap.
But did she change the watershed? So it's running into somebody else's?
Off.
Is
Is it affecting somebody else's property?
Okay.
Sure.
There you go. So the black box with the access to it is where the filter is. And that blue line is the right of way. So it's in between our road and our right of way lawn.
Uh-huh.
Did this create any damage to any other person's property? Is it causing harmful water on other people's property? I mean, that's the thing.
I went off our improvement standards it says we're not allowed to encroach into the right, yeah.
That's was my next question for her. Did she notify you, talk to you guys about putting
So what if-
or anything?
Billy that told me there was somebody that complained about it.
Okay.
Oh, so you
They-
guys,
So you have got a complaint, that's what I'm asking.
We've had a complaint.
I received a complaint, sent the complaint to Brian to go out and scope out the
Okay.
site which I made.
That's all I wanted, yeah, I just want to know.
So do we have an option to where we can help, assist, or what, do we have a potential plan?
I can kind of,
What can we do to help out here?
Yeah,
I guess, go out there on a rainy day, on multiple rainy days and see how it looks after a big rainfall.
can we put a tile?
Or you could shoot a laser on
Yeah,
some
so,
grade.
yeah, we could do on such.
Start at the highest point and wait down and check grade and see if it's got the flow that she has. The bad thing about it, ma'am, is if you're pushing water on someone else's, that's not allowed by IDM standards. That's, if you're not doing that, really not concern wise. But I say if you check the grades and see what it's doing, I understand your concern because you are working in the right of way and that you're not supposed to without permission and stuff like that. I'd say it's probably one of the things, if you could work with Brian on this and maybe him do some shots, elevations out there and see what's best and which way the water's flowing and how to achieve your get your problem fixed, but actually meet the town standards too.
Right, the issue is the water doesn't flow.
Right.
I have neighbors with me that can do this.
okay, well, hang on, we're getting way into the weeds here. So I just rather just listen to her. So apologize that for sir. I mean, we have employees that are gonna assist.
It's
and
been an
offer-
issue for a while.
Yeah, it's been an issue for a while. So let's approach it that way, Brian. If you can potentially shoot some elevations and kind of see, and then see if there's something that we can help out with, the town can help out with, or what option. And then maybe report back to the council or Carmen and she can, disseminate the information on options potentially. Would that be fair, ma'am?
Yeah, I mean, this is what Brian and I talked about when we were putting the dirt down, is that we're open to, we want to make this better.
Okay,
And I have to alleviate the
Understood.
issues that I'm having.
yeah, understood.
It's not healthy for anybody.
Okay.
And I need, I told Brian it's a work in progress. Any suggestions or advice or help, I'm totally open to that. But all I get is letters.
Yeah, I think we should definitely help investigate a solution there and help out where we can.
I appreciate it.
I don't think it's fair to say you gotta take care of it, it's your problem, then
Yeah, I
it's in a violation when you,
I've been in-
and I understand drainage you can't push.
It's a pretty big,
It's a
pretty big.
I think it's a bigger issue than just your property. I think it's something we can look at.
It's part of the road that was put in.
Yeah.
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
So
I moved
that's
in,
more of a concern for the town.
I moved in 1989. This has been going on since then.
Okay,
My.
And it's a what?
North of
Further
me
here?
has the same issue. His ditch isn't
Huh?
as deep as the other, but he has the same backup.
Brian's the best. He's a good guy. He'll do what he can and he'll report back to the council and Carmen, and we'll try to come to a common ground solution that benefits all parties.
I appreciate it.
May not be perfect, but
Hey, anything will help. Believe me, anything will help.
Okay,
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
ma'am. Brian, thank you.
There's some
Carmen?
line.
Oh,
We have someone online.
well, I think Mr. McGuire, you had something you wanted to say? State your name for the council and your address, please.
Name is Terry McGuire. Live in Park Forest on Deborah Lane. Excuse me. And 13 months ago, I'd addressed this issue with the chief of police at the time. And then about 11 months ago, I came here to the town council about Centerline Road from Park Forest to Whiteland Road. How if you get off the pavement, it just drops. Well, we've had I'll reiterate for the new faces. We've had a concrete truck flip over on its side, right by Mr. Godecker's property. Me and my wife were going north on Centerline Road at one point, and a triaxle dump truck got off the edge, corrected, came over We had to lock up our brakes. He went straight across us into the other side of the ditch, on the other side of the road. Me and Officer Pollard was coming north on center line at one point, and a tractor trailer was coming at us. Same thing. He got just off the edge of the road, but it drops. He came back up. He didn't go all the way across the road, but we had to definitely brake, or if we'd have been up there, it would have been a possible head-on collision. So where I'm going with this, we really need to address this issue with how the road slopes off the pavement, especially if you're pulling trailer past a trailer, because you can see all the axle marks where people's trailers have gone off one wheel and then they drag on the axle. Okay, so we addressed this, and Joe Saylor said he was going to take care of the issue. He said it's not our issue. He said it's the county's.
Yeah.
So he addressed it with them and copied me on the emails. Okay. And they fired back to him and said, with the given location, that is Whiteland's responsibility, not the county's. So then, and he did that within one day of it being sent to him. I followed up with Joe with an email in September, October, and November, and got 0 responses from him. Then I found recently,
Yeah, he's gone.
no longer
Right.
with you guys. So I just want to readdress the issue before somebody gets killed. I mean, it's a serious issue.
Mr. McGuire, I would ask that you forward those emails to my email.
Okay.
Okay, I'm on the email, rhill@whiteland.
Still got them.
Send them to me. I'll have conversation with Carmen. I don't know whose responsibility it is. I know this has been a concern. Okay, so, and then
Let me give you an update, and so we have a future roundabout going at Centerline Sawmill and Whiteland Road, projected for 2028. I met with Crossroad Engineers last week to kind of talk about our future. We've got all the neighborhoods paved. They may not be perfect, but they're paved. So we're kind of looking at future community crossings projects that would fit. Or as we're doing another project, can we fit in some others? We've talked about what could we do in the interim with exactly where he's discussing to at least put up like some stone shoulders, something to kind of help, because it is a significant drop off. One of our snow plows went off 2 years ago. And it is very, very hard. So the biggest thing it comes down to is money. As we all know, community crossings has dropped to 1 call a year. Now we might be able to go for a little bit more than $1 million of a project. But likely we're going to need to, I don't want to say wait any longer, because we unfortunately, that's just where we're at, but it's on my radar. We've got this year's community crossings is for the Warrior Trail out by the interstate and the part of US 31, Whiteland Road, US 31 to where New Whiteland did their paving Front Street. But then was to kind of add that in when we do that roundabout project, because that's going to be a complete closure and it's going to be even more of a headache. The other thing is Centerline should not have semis on it.
No.
It's not an approved truck route. I won't go into if they choose to go down that road, I don't want to, that's not for me to say. But it is not an approved truck route, so trucks should not be on that road. But when you're talking like if your personal truck and a trailer, that kind of thing, we're not going to stop that. But that is definitely, it's been a concern. It's just, it all comes down to how do we, you have to pay for it all without a community crossings kind of assistance. It's probably going to be close to $1 million to get it where we need to, because it's been built up over the years it was an old county road. And then it became ours. And Joe and I did talk about that. And I was like, no, Luke's right. It is ours. And that, so it's, but it goes a little further. There's no right of way.
Whiteland Road was redone. They just come back and put soil to a certain level and then dropped it off. They ran soil so many feet off of Whiteland Road and then sloped it back down, so that they didn't have that drop off immediately as soon as you get off the pavement. So, I mean, is that something that could be temporarily done, or?
My experience there, the problem is the angle, the amount of slope
Yeah,
is if you go and put a 2-foot stone shoulder in there, in 6 months, it's all gonna be in the ditch.
Right.
okay.
And that's,
I get it.
I live out there too, and I know what you're talking about. I've come up against semis on Center Line Road and thought,
Should there be signs there stating no semis or something?
All three of them live out that way.
They don't read the signs.
Sorry.
No,
Yeah, that's just part of life. Nobody's reading the signs or they want to.
But just know it is on the radar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, but the roundabout's being designed right now. And I did add that in. I said with that project as a white item, because remember, that's a cost share project with New Whiteland in the county. On that south leg, we would like to see that upgraded to at least add like a little bit of a shoulder, even if it's a stone shoulder, you know, but even if we go down to dig down in the road to make that drop off less, we might lose the road. The integrity of the road may not hold, and we might have to redo the whole thing.
year the asphalt on top of years with chip and seal.
So a more permanent solution is in the works, but a temporary solution, what options do we have? Can we,
Stone shoulder, temporary, and just keep adding to it.
Just,
Until
I mean,
we get it fixed right.
Myers's property, or is that easement?
We have very limited right of way. We have more right of way. Obviously, the first part on the southeast corner of that intersection is ours.
right.
And then it goes Brennemer's family, and then it goes into the millstone, the backs of the millstone and that.
But on the west side of the road is,
That's county.
That's all Mark, and so
Mark.
we would have to probably, we'd have to either ask for some right of way or pay for right of way, but again, like to get the slope of the stone with. I don't.
You would definitely have to go out quite a bit. I mean, if you're gonna.
Be down to,
4 feet.
Yes.
To get rid of
it.
house,
A few years back, paving project.
Lori,
For us.
Forrest, yes. Does it?
Yeah, it goes
How,
basically from Wyland Road on the west side of the road. It goes all the way down to,
My house.
His-
Pretty.
yeah,
that slope does?
And you're looking at
The-
3 to 5.
east side.
Yeah.
Is not as far, but you still see, it's,
So that-
it's pretty close, but you'll see axle marks where their trailer gets off and it drags down the axle because it drops off enough.
Yeah, we own the east side.
I mean, worst case to worst, we can always get a potential quote on the number. I mean, we've got 300 loads of, unfortunately, it's fill dirt, but it's not crushed snow. I know.
But I do have a job in my area, what's wanting to get rid of a lot of clay.
But
A lot of clay
maybe,
dirt.
maybe that's something, when time permits, we can take a look at that and see what kind of monies we're talking about, because it's gonna be temporary. And temporary is gonna wash out potentially, but maybe it'll buy some time.
Yeah.
And appeasement to concerned citizens.
But the money issue, you got the safety issue, you gotta try and balance them both out. I understand that. But I was just mostly concerned because Joe ignored 3 emails a month apart of each other.
I'm not so sure he ignored, he had other
I think
obligations.
he was upset because he said, that's not our problem, and then they fired back and said, yes, it is.
Okay.
So he didn't want to talk to me.
He has other things going on. That's why he's no longer here, so.
We appreciate you bringing it our concern.
Yeah, just forward those emails.
I will do that.
Anything else, sir?
Nope, just wanted to bring it up again.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
It's been 11 months since you brought that up last time.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
It's been a minute. Yeah, it was almost last.
Wow. That time went by fast.
We appreciate it. So
Thanks, Terry.
could you,
I'm trying to unmute.
can they hear us now?
Can you hear us, Nick?
Yeah, can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Perfect. My name is Nick Holtman. I live at 84 Cedarwood Court in Oakville. And I am here to propose the idea of exploring an ordinance that would allow for golf carts that have certain restrictions, headlights, taillights, turn signals, to be used recreationally on certain roads, similar to some of our neighboring cities. I know Franklin has an ordinance, Barkersville has an ordinance. So I'm just here to see if that has ever been talked about in the past, or if discussions could start.
This is Richard Hill. To my knowledge, it hasn't been socialized with the council. I know there has been questions concerning about access and doing that with prior police chief and maybe current police chief Derek. I'm not sure, but nothing's on the agenda for an ordinance at this point.
He's asking us to maybe explore.
I have a comment on this. This is Tim Brown and I own a golf cart and I drive it all around. I brought this up to Chief Schiff at one time about an ordinance because I said, hey, do it where they're over 16, do it where they got brake lights, do it where they got turn signals, stuff like a car, because it's kind of nice that I can run it over to my kids' house in the neighborhood. There's certain roads you can't go on, like Franklin does it too. Because I brought it to Chief's attention. And he said, well, we really don't want everybody out on them. He said, but we're really not going to say too much about it, because my thought is the school runs theirs, the subway and all that down that open road and everything. So if you're going to stop the citizens doing it, we got to stop the school from doing it, because they run their golf cart all over and their gator all over. And they run it all over, go to Dairy Queen, and that's what I brought him up. Yeah, I brought it up to him and said, hey, we'd have to police everybody, but it'd be a nice thing to do an ordinance to have it where, and I don't mind paying the inspection fee and getting a sticker. I think Franklin's is every 2 years that you got to get it renewed. And if I'm not right, it might be $100, but it's worth it to have license. That way the police officer could give them a ticket for running stop signs and stuff like that. And it does make it legal. I'm all for it if someone wants to start it in the community and, start an ordinance. But I think it's really discussion for the chief to talk to him, to get his opinion on it and to go from there, because it's really his ultimate call.
Well, if you get to ride a golf cart, I'm riding my lawnmower.
So I wasn't
You're allowed
involved in any of those conversations about that before, previously. But I do know that it was brought up a while back, and I think, as I recall, that there was some type of a preliminary drafted type of ordinance or a setup of it that was come up with.
Who drafted it?
Between Rick and Julia, I'm not sure. I'm sure
I've never seen it.
Oh, yeah.
access to it, or it's probably somewhere. But I don't have access. I wasn't part of that conversation. I can say, like, right now and here previously, we've had little to no problems with anybody on golf carts. It's not caused us a big problem. The only times it has is really when kids that shouldn't be driving it around town are driving around town anyway. We have more problems with the e-bikes and the e-scooters and the many
49 cc's.
Yeah, bought by a Walmart and then their 6-year-old drive down the street. Those are the things we have more problems with. The golf carts have more problems at this point.
So I guess a question I have is, can I drive a golf cart around my neighborhood and to the library and stuff without any repercussions right now, without an ordinance in place?
No.
No, not a guarantee.
No, we could,
I'm just telling you, I ride mine. I'm not gonna lie about it. And I just how it is. I've asked for an ordinance. I've asked, and everybody keeps telling me, don't worry about it. We're not gonna really do anything about it. So I think if it's at the point now that we're gonna tell people not to ride it, then we probably ought to look and get an ordinance or just ban them all.
Something we can certainly look at. I'm certainly willing to.
So my wife brought that up to me last week. She said, well, I'll get a golf cart to drive around.
I like mine because I can visit my grandkids and they live in the neighborhood and I take them for rides and they think Papa's the greatest. So it works for me. So my point is I think if it's something that you would prefer us to do an ordinance to drive them as the police chief, I think then that's what we need to go with and then ask council for permission. Someone besides, I guess I can work on it with you if you'd like. It's up to you, or this gentleman can work on getting an ordinance. He could do it. Someone could do it. And we could work together in creating something where there's an inspection fee and then you put a little sticker on it. And then if you're over 16 and driving it with a driver's license, then you can get actually a ticket for running a stop sign or speeding or anything like that.
And just to echo what Derek said, where we get the complaints from residents is when And it's usually kids are ripping down the street on a dirt bike. Yes, they might have a helmet on, but they're not 16. Or they're like, oh, well, we're gonna do a workaround. Like, is there a certain CC of a vehicle that, or a motorized vehicle that the limit? And it's like, it's the one, and it only takes one bad one to make, but where the police have had to respond to, some of the kiddos that are just being reckless, that running stop signs, like I said, ripping, Oakville makes a great loop, not to give any ideas. It does, and that's where we run into issues, and I would hate for something bad to happen because they're not seen or they're driving recklessly.
I yell them in my neighborhood all the
We
time.
would have clarification because we get that call all the time. We send them over to the police department, they send them back to us. And so just to clarify, to say, this is allowed, these are not.
With the changes in the law a couple of years ago, pretty much anything with a gas powered motor has to be plated, has to be like 15 years old with an ID card and an endorsement on their license or a driver's license to even have it on the road. So if somebody's under 15 years old, they can't be out on the road on any of them anyway. We had a 12-year-old last week that rode a 100cc dirt bike from Greenwood down into Whiteland and ended up running into the side of a car right by the dog park. Unfortunately, he was not hurt very badly, but those are the type of things we see more than the golf cart issue. People don't understand the law. We posted it on our Facebook page and our website, such the information, and it just people kind of go to a store and they say, "Oh yeah, you're buy this and your kid can drive it around." They don't tell them they have to stay on their own property or and can't be on the roadway with it.
Well, the rumor is 49 cc's and lower, and they're streetability. They're advertising that at the shops. I mean, they're advertising everywhere. So that's where the confusion is.
Yeah, 49 cc's and lower, they have to have it plated. They don't have to have insured. They don't
Right.
have a license, but over that. Yeah.
So Nick, did you get all that? So basically, we do not have an ordinance, but
Yes, I understand that.
okay, so I would probably shy away from, maybe driving that because that's at your own at will. But the chief of police and another council member has entertained the idea of at least conversation and socializing this. So
Thank you.
That's the best we can do at this point.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thanks for hearing me out. Thanks for the time.
No worries. Did you have anything else, sir?
No, that's it from me.
Okay.
How many CCs is my lawnmower?
Is there anybody else online that has a question?
Well, you can ride a lawnmower regardless. And you can ride a tractor on the road.
Can?
Yeah, tractor, lawnmower, backhoe, excavator. Yeah, all you gotta have triangle questions.
Anybody else over here? Anybody else over here? I know the council doesn't have any more comments.
I can comment on the golf cart real quick.
You make it fast.
I've spoken with the new Whiteland Police Chief, and I know they're pushing to get it approved for golf carts. But have to have all the safety issues and also be a licensed and insured person.
Mine is insured. My golf cart's insured. It's insured. We insure ours.
Saying
Right.
just because you're 16, I think they need to be a licensed driver.
Oh, I agree. That's how our ordinance is in Burgersville. You gotta be 16 with a driver's license. Same with Franklin. And that's the same thing we do here because you kind of police it where you're going. Now, there's roads you can't drive down, like you won't be driving down 31, and that'd be in the ordinance where you can and can't go.
Ordinance allows us to make the distinction between UTVs and golf carts and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Okay. Any other comments from the
Nope.
council?
Nope.
Nope.
But Joe, on that behalf, I can license RTZ